I will say when we first opened, our coffee was not good. Subpar. But we've grown.
You're like nodding and winking to customers like, don't buy that one. No, they're like, I'll take the house. Like, no, you don't.
Do you want the grounds in or out?
Do you want the sandbar at the bottom of the cup?
No, not that bad. But we have grown.
Welcome back to another episode of the Look Around podcast.
Woo!
Today we are here in the wonderful Dialogue Coffee House right here at 29th and Gage with the founder and former owner, we'll get into that a little bit later, very decorated award-winning business owner, Caitlyn Halsey. So thanks so much for coming on the podcast today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. So
we'll get a close-up of your trophy case in a bit.
Yeah, the much more decorated of the Halsey siblings, of course.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
Right before we hit record, Caitlyn was telling us about how your brother
has accomplished nothing.
Is he older or younger?
Just kidding.
Is he older or younger?
He's 2 years older than me.
He's 2 years older.
Yes.
Won a bunch of soccer awards in high school.
Right.
Tell us what the family joke was.
It's just fun to get to banter back and forth with him, but he's like, well, your awards actually matter, but it's fun for me to be like, well, you have 8 awards and I have 6, so I'm still trying to catch up,
So you've gotten 6 awards
Oh, I don't know.
opening
That
the
was just a
Oh,
ball
yeah.
I mean, I think
I mean,
it's
if
probably
I
like 32.
counted,
It's
if I
probably 32,
no.
right? Yeah. You're being humble.
yeah, just a great family all around. So yeah, it's
Very entrepreneurial family, by
No
the
doubt.
way, which I'm sure we'll get into.
no doubt.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the backstory of how Dialogue came to be.
Dialogue really began when I was in high school and got to befriend some people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And I just got to walk in their world and be a friend to them. And yeah, just cultivating those friendships and learning in that the hardships that they face in life. And after high school, there's not many opportunities other than to go to a day service program or stay home. And those are the options. And so it felt really frustrating, as a friend, that I could go and have a career and do all of the things that I wanted to do, and that my friends had this other alternative to the life.
Not as many options.
Right.
And
And so just out of that heart cry or heart desire, I started talking to people, and I was like, hey, this really would be awesome. Coffee is for a lot of different walks of life. Different people enjoy coffee and treats and all sweet bakery items and stuff. So I was like, it would be really fun for someone to open a coffee shop. And one thing fell after another, and it was like, okay, Caitlyn, actually, you're the person for the job. You're going to be the one that opens this opportunity for Topeka. So yeah, that's kind of where it started.
When
awesome.
was that?
So the whole process of the idea was my senior year of high school in 2016. Graduated 2017. I went to Baker University for a year. And in that time, I wrote the business plan for Dialogue.
Wow.
For a class.
Nice.
But with a dual purpose.
That was a valuable class.
Yeah.
That was a valuable class.
In Topeka, they were doing this really cool thing called Top Tank, kind of like Shark Tank.
Oh, yeah.
Where you got to pitch your idea. So I was like, it doesn't hurt to try. So I pitched the idea. And in that process, they really made you think through every step of okay, if this is a real thing, you have to have a location, you have to, make money, you have to have a viable business. So I just had to think through so many different aspects that in the end, even though I didn't win the money to open, it was well, everything's already rolling. Let's just go for it.
Wow, yeah, because
So,
you already had the spreadsheets and the numbers.
Right,
and,
yeah.
Wow, that's
and
amazing.
the market research and everything. So then we opened in 2019, April
Wow.
2019. So
Wow.
That's really cool.
So you had 1 year to prep before COVID hit.
Yes. The shutdown was exactly like our 1 year anniversary.
Wow.
So we were closed for a month during that time just because of our employee base of adults with disabilities. We wanted to protect them and figure out how the heck to handle this.
Sure. Yeah, we were all like, what is going on?
Right. Like the pressure alone on yourself is a lot, but
I
then
know.
to also be the one responsible for 15 employees was
that's crazy.
extremely daunting.
Personally, as just with your own personality and the way you kind of operate in the world, were you like like hyper vigilant, kind of like, spray antiseptic on every surface, or were you like, I'm fine, what's the problem, like which of those two? I feel like most people went in one of those two directions.
I think for me, I was like, whatever.
What's the big deal?
yeah. But
I tell you how I was.
Having
My wife
a
was the
team,
opposite.
having a team was a little bit more stressful. And I just didn't want to make the wrong decision to harm another individual, like another person, one of my staff members, somebody I care so dearly about. A lot of it was trial and error and just seeing what they were comfortable with individually and walking through that. But I think also I learned one of the biggest lessons out of that experience of like people with disabilities, their entire lives are about like shifting their perspective or getting into something and it's not working the way they want it to work and the way it works for everybody else, and then like having to navigate that transition and the difference there. So it was cool for me to be able to experience something that not that they experience pandemic every day, but
something life altering.
Yeah.
It really, life altering, limits your options.
Yeah.
And having to adjust your life around that.
Right.
That is interesting, just how parallel that seems to be. Yeah. Wow, that's cool.
Really neat.
So what were some of the biggest challenges to starting like what made you finally think, okay, it's not someone else, I'm the one who's going to do this, Like what finally got you over that tipping point?
I feel like a lot of it is my faith and just the call that I really felt to go. I think just praying through that and hearing yes over and like so clearly. It's probably the only thing I've like heard vividly is like, yes, go. That and like enough people in my life who would speak into that and say, yes, like Topeka needs this, our world needs this, there's a change coming. Somebody has to start the change for our world. And so it was just so needed. And even in that like Top Tank experience, like there's incredible business leaders who put that on. And although they saw my age as a factor, they were like, yeah, the business idea is strong and Topeka needs this. So there was a deep need. An obvious obstacle was like my age. And
so you were like 19 or 20 at the time?
Dialogue opened when I was 20. Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
It's been wild.
That's awesome.
Choosing to forgo.
I was not doing anything like that when I was 20.
I wasn't doing crap compared to you when I was 20.
I was really good at Mario Kart.
That's awesome. Man. I mean, we each have our own little stages.
I was an RA in a dorm that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
R.I.P. Oliver.
Back in my day. Oh man. Well, that's awesome. Even as you say that, we're sitting in front of this amazing quote or this phrase: "The world needs you who to be. The world needs who you were made to be."
The world
if I can
needs
read.
who you to be. John's new Instagram bio.
What's the Kevin words?
Why waste a lot of time?
There you go.
There you go.
Oh man,
That's really cool.
It is. It's inspiring.
Yeah,
it is. And
so I'm curious as a small business owner, what is your, well, I guess it's different now, but what was your structure when you started? Were you an LLC? Were you a nonprofit? Because you kind of toe the line between a couple of different things.
We opened as an LLC. A lot of people, I think, expected us to be a nonprofit entity because we have such strong mission. But I don't know. I kind of found value in being a for-profit business because it kind of showed the world that we're not just here for like a good time.
It's not just charity. It's like a legitimate.
Like this. Yeah, we can make this work, and they are valuable employees. That this is a business. Like
that's awesome.
It's just like anywhere else that they would work. So
can you show us your spreadsheets and how much money you've made? I'm just kidding.
That's not her problem,
right?
Yeah. Well, how about you walk us to that point? How did you get So you started. You're 20 years old in 2019.
Correct.
A year in, you hit COVID.
Correct.
Had to hit pause for a month. What was the process from there to now?
Yeah.
And I'll let you
It's
kind
been
of share
wild.
kind of
It
where
feels
we're
like
at now.
The longest amount of time in my life, but also like so short, like a blink. But after COVID, I was feeling immense burnout of like, I care so deeply about these people, but I like can't take on everything, all those things.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That I like overstaffed a whole summer where I didn't have to work here. Didn't make any money during that time, but
Nice.
It was worth it because
eating
I
ramen
needed
all summer.
yeah, right. I just needed time away to like really collect where dialogue could go, and we were coming up on let's see, 20, I don't know my years. This is going to get hard. They all run together. After we had been open for 3 years is when I had to re-sign the lease.
Okay, yeah.
And so I was like,
last year?
Do we close?
Probably?
Do we keep going? Like, I don't know if I can keep sustaining this. So after that time, I was like, you know what? I'm feeling really refreshed. Let's go. I remember telling one of my closest friends, like, find me a buyer. I'm done. Which sounds so awful. But
It's
just
legitimate.
like,
Yeah.
the tedious, like, it all looks fun from everyone's outside perspective, but there's so many details and things that you have to do as the owner of the business, right?
Yeah.
You're the marketing department, you're the accounting department, you're HR, you're doing everything. And so I remember, telling a friend that and then like letting that go. And so a whole year later, so this past January, I got a call from the Capper Foundation, who is a great nonprofit here in Topeka servicing birth through adults with disabilities. And they were like, we're really interested in just getting to know you. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll sit on the board. Like, this is fun. Something I'm passionate about. And in that meeting, I remember Zach, the CEO of Capper Foundation, saying, we want you to be a part of our team and like bringing in dialogue into Capper Foundation because we have a great training program for adults with disabilities, and nobody else has been able to figure out that model. And so I have done the legwork to get it going, and so it's just been a really good fit. We sold officially in April 3rd.
Cool.
So it's only been like a month.
Wow.
But things are running smoothly, and
wow.
can't complain.
And you enjoy your day-to-day more?
Yes. It's fun to get to not be a part of all the tedious background stuff anymore, but to really be a part of the bigger vision. And part of that looks like expansion and growth physically, but in hopes that we can bring on more staff and do more training and more of why we started. Like, this is the whole mission is employment of adults with disabilities. And so if we can do that bigger for Topeka, because the need is there, then it's a win.
Yeah. How does dialogue fit into what Capper's doing?
Yeah, well, their mission is building abilities for adults, not just adults, all people living with a disability. So they currently do job training on site at different places around town, like, Walgreens or different businesses. They try to implement their adults that they're servicing into the community. But we, like I said, have created such a model for specialized training and a really cool part is just like seeing their confidence in themselves like boost tremendously. Every
Wow.
single person we've hired, they come in, they're like so nervous to start working, which we
Yeah.
all are, right?
Sure, yeah.
Like from the interview to
Nobody sleeps the night before
Right.
their first day at a new
I
job.
know,
It just doesn't happen.
exactly, exactly. But I think it's for at a whole new level because they've probably been turned down a few more times than we have. And
Wow, yeah.
just to see the confidence grow and their determination to work really hard, it's just been really beautiful to see. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Can I take it a little bit back? I'm just
Yeah.
curious. Thinking about myself in high school, I was not really outward focused. I feel like most people in high school, I was probably pretty similar. I want to get my good grades, get to my college, do and get out and start my life. So what was it about that time of your life that actually made you like pause and invest in the people's lives around you in a way that maybe
Yeah.
wasn't as selfish as a lot of high schoolers
Oh,
operate?
yeah. I think honestly, a lot of it is I had really bad friends. I did. I really did. I'm sorry if we were friends in high
Can we
school.
shout out specific people
No.
or who are your terrible friends?
No. But like in that experience of like just being hurt by people, I leaned a lot on my teachers, and they like pointed me specifically to this teacher in the special education department. So I was just there to hang out with the teacher. And in that, obviously, she was like, "Here are
Yeah.
my friends. Like, look at these people. They're fun." And I think originally I got started thinking, "Oh, I'm benefiting them."
Right.
And then in that, I found so much like reward, and
Wow.
they were feeding into me.
Yeah,
Like
so at
they
first you're like, well, I'm here to hang out.
Yeah.
I'm helping the teacher
Right.
with what she's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow,
a
they're-
short-term mission trip. Like, I'm going to go change the world.
Right.
And you
2
come
weeks.
back changed.
Exactly. Yeah, and just like their perspective on life, like so much joy in terrible circumstances. Like it was so fun and refreshing to be around every day that, like I said, they just like became my friends and got further and further. And I was like, well, I'm going to go be a teacher, do all the things. But
Whoa.
life changed. And this
So
is
is
where
that what
I
you
ended
thought?
up.
You thought you'd go on and like teach?
Yeah, I thought
Wow.
forever, ever since I was little, I thought I'd be a teacher. But
Wow.
then I was like, well, maybe special ed, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, in some ways, it seems like you are, right? You're
Yeah.
giving people very practical life-changing skills that they can do in their day-to-day lives. I think that's so valuable.
Yeah, it's been a blast. And to, just have managers and like-minded individuals in here and training them up to be the best supports for adults with disabilities in our community
Yeah.
has been really rewarding.
Yeah, I always think it's so fun to just think back on life. And obviously you, maybe more than some other people, can point to a very specific day or a very specific moment where if that day didn't happen, you wouldn't be here where you are. You walk into that classroom, and now here all these years later, it's just so cool to
Wow,
see how
yeah,
life
so
works out
true.
like that.
Yeah, it's been fun. I don't think I recognized that until like even a year ago when I did take that step back, as I was in it so deeply that it was like, okay, I just need to take a look at the greater picture.
Yep.
Where have
Remember
I
your why,
come?
all that
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So where are you at now? What is the future looking like for you now? You're not the owner. You're not having to do taxes and accounting and all of that.
Jesus.
What's your day-to-day look like now, and how is it different than what you were doing before?
I get a fancy title, better than owner. It's longer at least. I am the Employment Services Director for Capper Foundation.
Wow.
That is a great title.
Right. Sounds fancy. Basically just running day-to-day operations here still oversight. But the hope is a greater expansion of the employment model that I have created at this store to either multiple stores or beyond, to other business ideas or
Different industries.
different
That would be really cool.
companies.
Wow.
So we're starting with expanding Dialogue, its current outline, I guess you'd say,
Wow.
and see where that goes, and then
Do you think you'll open another location at some point?
we will be opening a second location. And hopefully 2 or 3 after that.
Wow.
That's
But
amazing.
That
the
is
first
awesome.
one will be in Topeka.
So
the
you're
second one.
thinking about beyond the second one will be outside of Topeka.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
Wow. You're not going to like just power move, go park right across from every coffee shop in Topeka. Be like, we're here, we're competing against you.
That's what Scooters does.
That is what Scooters does.
Are they all going to be called dialogue, or are there going to be other conversational words?
Soliloquy's already taken. That's right.
True.
We learned recently that that's what that means. It's
Yes.
talking.
I've always wondered.
Yeah.
I do enjoy.
It's like an aside monologue of some sort.
Yeah.
You will find me there on a lot of Saturdays. So.
Oh, well, you will enjoy the episode we're dropping tomorrow morning,
Oh,
Yes.
fun.
which this episode will come out after that. So
It'll be ways after.
Yeah.
Yes, no, it will be the Dialogue Coffee House. Probably forever
Empire.
and always.
That's
Empire.
great.
Exactly.
The
Wow.
empire of dialogue.
Man, that's
so
amazing.
And it's exciting. Like
Yeah.
probably as the owner, I was content with one store.
sure.
So it's fun to have somebody else kind of probing me, saying, "Let's do more. Let's do more." And it's like, yeah, because
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily the dreamer.
Well, and you
I
don't
can
have to do all the things at
initiate.
6 stores then. You just get to
Right.
do
Yeah,
the things you like. at 6
Exactly.
stores
That's what
or
I was about
whatever.
to say. Is like you could find really
You
the
hire
role.
quality people.
Exactly.
Yes.
You find the thing that you're good at that you enjoy doing,
Mm-hmm.
and they get to do all the boring stuff
Yeah.
that maybe you wouldn't enjoy as much.
I can vision
Yeah.
To the people who
cast
like
and-
those things, it's
Yeah.
not boring though. You know,
Right.
there are
Yeah, I
people
feel
who
like-
like that.
I feel like
Yeah.
that's like that's most of what like our adult life. Hopefully, you land in a career or a job or a role that you enjoy.
Yeah.
And the goal is like slowly offloading the things that you're really not good at, that you're not really made to
Exactly.
do. Finding like the thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's always things like chores and stuff we kind of have to do. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
that's great.
That's
I will
really
find
cool.
finance people. I will find
I know. I'm the same
people
way.
to
Yeah.
mow my yard, which is, but they're out there, so why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah, I know. I'm
Supporting
the
the
same way.
entrepreneurial spirit. That's all you're doing.
Exactly.
Spreading the wealth.
That's what I'm gonna tell. Yes.
Exactly. That's right.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
yeah. If
that's-
someone calls you later, like, "Hey, how come you're not doing this?" Like, "Hey, I'm supporting other entrepreneurs."
Exactly. Yes. We need to make
That's
the
really
world go
cool.
round. So.
That's right.
So, do you think, as far as like thinking about the city of Topeka, was
Mm-hmm.
it your mission and your vision for this store that kept you here? Are there other things that kept you in the city? I know your family being here
Mm-hmm.
is big, but just talk a little bit about what you see in the city of Topeka that you're excited about being here.
I am probably one of the few people who has always loved Topeka. Like,
Really?
Even as a kid, I couldn't imagine being anywhere else.
Would you like to be the third host of the Look Around?
Yeah. We'd like
Yeah.
We'd like
It
to
has-
invite the Capper Foundation to merge with our podcast.
There you go. There you go. They might after this now. Yeah, it's been really fun to see the growth happen in Topeka. I didn't necessarily have a certain location that I was set on for Dialogue Coffee House because we do see it as kind of a destination place. People are willing to come for the mission and support. So I don't know that I necessarily had a dream spot. Now I'm like, oh, I would love to be here, here, and here.
Yeah.
And who knows?
I
Maybe.
mean, it is true that people will come for the mission. So you don't necessarily, not that you don't, because your service is great, your products are great, but you don't necessarily have to have A+ of all those things. But if you get to add all of that as well, why not?
Right.
If you get the dream location with really great coffee and really great service plus a mission,
Yeah.
all the better.
Yeah. I will say when we first opened, our coffee was not good. Subpar. But we've grown.
You're like nodding and winking to customers, like, "Don't buy that one." No, they're like, "I'll take the
want-
house." Like, no, you don't.
Do you want the grounds in or out?
Do you want the sandbar at the bottom of the cup,
No,
or?
not that bad. But we have grown, and Kevin at Blue Jazz really hooked us up with knowing how to run our machines properly and all that good stuff. So
Were you like watching YouTube videos like how to run an espresso machine? Like what was that like?
I got trained, whatever that means, air quotes, around at the high school coffee shop. It's called Common Grounds, Washburn Rural High School.
They have their own coffee shop?
They do.
Oh, that's cool.
And so I was the store manager you know.
Wow, you were like trained for this role. This is crazy.
And no,
They would be
not
so
really.
proud. They like whoever oversees that coffee shop. If they see this, they're like, my dreams as a teacher have come true. I've made the impact in the world.
I can retire in peace.
I do love those teachers there. I feel like I owe them everything. They really did invest in me. But
Wow.
yeah, I don't know that
That's no small thing.
Obviously, it wasn't very. I don't know.
It's safe. This is a safe place.
Yeah, it was.
Don't listen for a second.
It's
This is
good
safe.
high school training, right?
Yeah.
Like you're learning job skills,
Right.
But I wouldn't say that they're serving the best specialty coffee in the world,
Wouldn't
right?
be a thriving
fair.
business in the open market.
That's fair. It's for high school students.
Yeah,
They don't
yeah.
know what they're drinking.
They don't need to drink coffee.
So was
really
there like
anyways.
a teacher that was just training the students in how to use everything?
Yeah.
or-
So like he wasn't trained.
The teacher was probably watching YouTube videos
Yes.
and then showing up the next day like, all right, so this is definitely, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. So
you
when
know?
we opened, I was like, "Hey, can I have that, menu that says the drink recipes?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure." So we were basically an offshoot of the Common Grounds at Western High School.
with a mission.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
But our pastries and baked goods kept us open. Let's just say.
Yeah.
I mean, the Italian cream sodas here are delicious as well. So.
There you go.
Wait, so yeah, I guess I'm trying to put myself back in 2009. You opened April 2019.
April 2019.
It was not that long after that I think
You came in?
we came
I'm
in.
sorry.
Yeah. No. We came in. So
That's
we.
why you didn't come back. No.
No, we've been back.
Okay,
we have been
fair,
back.
fair.
But 2019 is when I moved here. My wife and I moved to Topeka,
Okay.
and we were starting a church,
Mm-hmm.
and one of our first launch team meetings was here. And we
yeah.
reserved
Played
space.
board
That's
games.
right.
And
I do
we had
remember
board
that.
games, and you guys, I don't know who made them, but you made like these amazing cookies.
Yeah.
Like these
It's
massive.
what we're famous for.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Topeka famous. for
I'm pretty
cookies.
sure you single-handedly launched our church
Yeah.
for us with those cookies. It was
People were like, I wasn't in before, but this
They
is
came in for the
something
cookies.
I will tithe for these cookies.
Well, if
man.
you ever need them, we still have them.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
so obviously you have a lot to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like you're very excited about where you're in with Capper, your role there, the potential of future
Mm-hmm.
locations, and even the option of other ideas, different businesses, different kinds of businesses.
Yeah.
Which we won't ask you to spill the beans. We don't want someone to steal your ideas. So for the tens of listeners
Right.
out there watching this, but what about the city of Topeka in general? Are there things as you look out over the city? Obviously, it's amazing that you're one of I'd say small percentage of people who grew up here, who loved it from the very
Okay,
beginning,
yeah.
didn't need to leave and see, wow, Topeka was awesome.
Well,
need
I
to go back.
left and went to Baldwin City. So.
Well, there you go. Yeah,
That was the eye opener.
Right? It was like, oh, Topeka's better than this.
You're like, why did I leave?
Sorry to anyone from Baldwin. This show. It's great. I love
Well,
Baldwin.
they probably know people there.
We're just inadvertently insulting everyone that's watching this. But as you look at the city of Topeka, what are some things that you would like to see as Topeka's growing, as Topeka's getting better, there's momentum, other businesses are opening. Are there some holes? Are there some voids where you're like, man, Topeka really needs this. Topeka really needs, this experience or this type of business or
You can't
something
say a
like that.
second dialogue because we already know that's in the works, right?
Okay, great. Well, I would say, there's lots of holes, right? But I love that Topeka is coming around their small businesses and really cheering them on, championing them. And so I hope that people feel encouraged that this is a place that they can open a risky type of store, something that's not cut and clean or,
Yeah.
But I think I hear a lot because I'm female that a lot of people travel for there's no good shopping places in Topeka. So I would love to see some more good shops.
Like what kinds of shops? Like
Like
clothes?
yeah, like clothing, home decor,
Yeah.
stuff like that. I think I hear a lot of people
kind of
say
retail space or
I
whatever.
have to go to Kansas City or Lawrence to get that stuff. So that's disheartening to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone else recently said the same thing. Just, man, we need more retail, local retail, where you don't have to just go to Amazon. Yeah.
But like I'm pumped about like what Soliloquy is doing with the craft cocktail space, and I think other restaurants are starting to get into that. But growing up, I never made it off of Wanamaker and all those chain stores. So this has been so fun to discover all of the small businesses.
Eye-opening.
But yeah, I think like little places, smaller infrastructure places like Jong's, like we need more places that care deeply about the community and serve a really good product. So that's a lot of different ideas I just threw at you, but
that's great. After you said you grew up on Wanamaker, I thought you were going to say we need more Taco Bells or something.
Oh gosh. Low-key, that was my favorite restaurant as a kid.
What was your go-to at Taco Bell?
I don't even, just a taco probably. But anytime.
No Baja Blast.
Oh, absolutely. Which I need to get over to Circle and try that. But
I did have it last week. It's pretty good.
Is it good?
Pretty good. I don't even like the original, but I like that one. So.
Great. Yeah, I think anytime as a kid I was like, Mom, I want Taco Bell, which is
Heck yeah.
just I literally be, yeah.
You're ashamed.
I would, be destroyed
Hey.
now saying that. But
This is a safe
now-
place. You're a new person. You're an adult.
Yeah.
So you've learned your lesson.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like you can't be a craft cocktail drinker and a Taco Bell connoisseur
Right.
at the same time. Doesn't really work.
Yeah.
I've grown.
No, you totally can. You can. What do they say? They say it's a sign of a healthy mind to hold two things in contention with one another or something. So it's possible. You're a healthy adult. You can have two seemingly different things. You go right from Taco Bell to Soliloquy.
I feel like they better be paying us for this podcast.
Yeah. I know.
You're welcome, Aaron.
Yeah.
So,
Sponsors.
just a question for if someone were to come to you and say, "Hey, I'm kind of on the fringe about Topeka. I live here, I work here. I'm not really engaged. I'm not really invested. What's something I should try? I want to take one shot before I just give up and move or whatever. What's one thing they could try to do to get involved in the city?"
I feel like I'm obligated to say this because I was on the board, but Forge Young Professionals is a great organization in Topeka. I think they're trying really hard to get people to just see Topeka, for what it is. Like a lot of Topeka it requires community to make it fun. Like it's the people that you're with that make it a blast.
Yeah, it's so true.
And so they might like meet up at Skinny's or the zoo or something, but it's not the zoo or Skinny's that's necessarily it's the people that are there and the conversations that you get to have. And so I would just encourage them to be somewhere where there is a group of people that they can have conversation with and get to know and invest in this community
So you could
and
say,
relationships.
go out and have a dialogue.
Exactly. Now when that word is used in conversation,
Cut that part out.
I like cringe every time I hear the word in a sentence now, but it's great. It's great.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I will say a big shout out to Forge. I mean, we both have gone to many Forge events and made a lot of really good friends that we still see. Actually, I'll see one of my close friends tonight that I met at a Forge event.
Yeah.
Two or three actually that I met at a Forge event. We'll see tonight. But it's an amazing place. We're the same way. I mean, we feel the same way about it. Really is the people, that are going to keep you in a place. I think somewhere like Topeka gets a lot of heat for not being a Lawrence or a Kansas City or even, Kansas gets a lot of heat for not being Colorado or whatever.
The activities are limited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you have the right people,
Right.
man, you can live anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're the right people, you have the right sense of mission and purpose. You have a sense of belonging, and man. I mean, well, that's kind of what we say at our church. We say, "Find your people, find your purpose." And it's so true. So, man, thank you so much for joining us. I will say, I'm not sure we've laughed this much on any of our
I'm glad
episodes.
that you keep you going.
Yeah, this is amazing. I appreciate you.
I had a blast.
You have a real presence that draws people in and it creates a sense of comfort and belonging, and people can take risks, and we laughed a lot. This was great.
Yeah.
I feel like I kind of made a fool out of myself, but we made it here together.
These podcasts aren't to highlight us anyway, so we can look like a fool all we want.
Yeah, this is to make you look good.
They watch in spite of us for people like you.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Well, Caitlyn, thank
No.
you so much. We know you have so much
thank
going
you.
on with your coffee empire that you are cultivating. So where can people find you on social media? Personally or business, kind of wherever.
For Dialogue Coffee on Instagram and Facebook. And then personally, just Caitlyn Halsey on Instagram.
All right.
It's a fun place to be.
You haven't blown up on TikTok yet?
No, I'm a little scared to get in that space, but maybe that could be fun.
Yeah. You're kind of the target demographic. You're Gen Z, right?
Am I technically?
I don't know. Do you remember
don't want
9/11?
to.
You're lower 20s,
Yeah.
right?
Do you remember 9/11? You
I
might
do
be a millennial.
remember 20,
That's the dividing line.
But yeah, 24. I don't know.
Yeah. Caitlyn Halsey, about to blow up on TikTok. Go check
That's
her
right.
out.
What content should I post? I don't know.
Dance videos.
Oh no,
Dude,
Nobody
I
wants
bet,
that.
actually, dude, oh my gosh, how cool would it be if you and the staff made dance videos on TikTok?
Oh, yeah.
That would blow up. That would
So
blow
fun.
up.
100%.
Okay, if I go TikTok famous, it's all credit to you.
That's right. You heard it here
We'll
first.
take 30% of the royalties.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think TikTok pays very well. China doesn't pay very well. Oh, man. All right. Well, anything else you want to tell
Just come
everybody?
on in, grab a cup of coffee, grab some cookies, whether you want one or whether you want to grab a bunch for your event. Support a great place with a great mission and great product and service. You can't beat it.
Mm-hmm.
Come on in.
Absolutely.
All right. That's a wrap. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Look Around podcast.
Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And follow us on Instagram at the Look Around podcast, where followers can submit questions for future interviews.
If you'd like to connect with us further, you can send us an email at thelookaroundpodcast@gmail.com.